Hello and welcome to our Alumni Spotlight Business Owner feature. This morning, I'm delighted to be joined by two fantastic DCU graduates and the co-owners of Ella Verbs, Jane French and Brian Hemeryck. Jane and Brian, good morning. How are you?
Good morning,
Leanne. Thank you so much. I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. I'm really excited to chat to you both about Ella Verbs, which of course is our Alumni Business Spotlight for this month. It's such a practical app and of course a great journey behind it as well. We'll chat about that in a couple of minutes time, but first, Jane, you graduated from International Business in 2013. So what memories do you have from being a student at DCU?
DCU, yeah, I mean, I have so many amazing memories of DCU. I suppose the one that kind of stands out to me is being involved in clubs and societies. We were both really involved in clubs and socks, and it really kind of helped us build confidence and meet new people and
each other.
Each other. That's true.
Yeah, for context, we're married as well. So
we met, yeah, clubs and socks days. That was great. But yeah, we were involved in the Enterprise Society, creating, organizing events and all these social things. It was really, really great. Studying in the library at Christmas time or at summertime was always like an amazing time. It was a highlight for us. Really just spending time on campus was or trying to prolong our time on campus was kind of what I always wanted to do.
The transition afterwards was probably the hardest. Like the hardest thing about DCU is leaving DCU.
Yeah. Brian, I was just going to ask you, actually, you left obviously with the degree in business studies in 2011. So what was the plan when you were looking to graduate and where did you kind of go when you left DCU?
Great question. I had specialized in finance and luckily actually I did a year work experience, so intra, which I think is still there. But so I did an intra in finance, and from that I sort of knew I wanted to get my feet wet in like loads of different things. So I went straight into management consulting with PwC after graduating. But to be honest, my journey since then has been like a bit all over the place. I did a year there, then I actually stopped for a while and was trying some of my own things, my own side businesses. From there, went into startups and tech, and that's pretty much where I've been since. But which was probably 9 years ago now, which makes me feel very old. But from there, like I jumped around a lot of different functions. So I worked in anything from product management to sales to marketing. Now I work in engineering. But yeah, it was so it's been a fun journey. Like I think if someone had said to me like then when I was in DCU, like this is what your career is going to look like, I probably would have laughed at them. But I think it's a cool thing about this generation and about DCU as well, that like it's easy to sort of build on like your network and your like experience in like not only in like college but also like your learnings. Like the learning doesn't have to stop after DCU, and you can sort of move around different places, and so it's been exciting.
Great. And of course, loads of skills, loads of experience, and you guys are so well traveled as well. And Jane, that's kind of how the idea of Ella Verbs came about, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. We had been living in Vancouver and were looking to move home to Spain, to Europe. So we were now living in Spain. But while we were doing that, we thought, why not travel through Mexico and see what that has to offer.
Take a break.
And yeah, I mean, throughout that kind of those couple of months, we were there for about 6 months. Brian was trying to learn Spanish. And because I had obviously I'd studied Spanish in DCU, I had a little bit of a one-up on him in that regard. So I was helping him out. It kind of started just one day. I just started building a spreadsheet of all the different verbs and tenses, and then we would show and hide different cells so he could quiz himself. And I just studied online a course to do UX design. So also Brian had some kind of experience developing apps. So we kind of thought, why don't we just make an app, kind of more so just for ourselves, really as a project, and for me to kind of try out my design skills, this was kind of the first thing that I could really get my teeth into. So yeah, it really just came from an idea for us really to help us out and to help Brian out, and built on from there.
And how did you split the work between yourselves at the start?
Yeah, well, I suppose it kind of was quite natural in a sense because of our skills. So Brian took on all the development, and I kind of took on all the design, as I said, but we did really work together a lot and collaborate on the, the end goal. What did we want to look like? What did we want it to do? And what's the best way to do this? And we kind of settled it that way.
I think we were very lucky. Like, it was such a merge of like me, the development, and then you, the design. And because I think a lot of startups and apps and stuff, or people working on apps, they're often looking for one of those things. And the fact that we had both of them in within ourselves, that was pretty great.
Yeah, I mean, it took a couple of iterations to get it where it is today. We are 3 years in now, so it's the skills weren't amazing at the beginning, but it got better over time.
It's a process.
Exactly.
Trust the process. And I have to ask, so you guys are obviously co-founders, you're business partners, but you're married as well. So how have you found that to work?
Really? No.
Oh, go on. It'll be interesting. It would have been better to interview us separately and then put it together. But
no, it works out pretty well. We've kind of worked together a lot, I think, over the, actually since DCU and from societies and stuff, we work together a lot, and we're kind of used to it, and we're used to each other's company, I suppose, from just traveling and it being just us for 6 months. You kind of get used to that, right? So it's kind of just second nature to us now, and it kind of works well. I don't know.
Yeah, I think we're lucky. We haven't got bored of being around each other too much yet. So hopefully that'll stay. But yeah, I think like the most tension we have is I'm very much I love to add features. Like, I just want to add more and more features. And Jane, in fairness, is more methodical about it and thinks long term and is this for the right for the user and where we want to go. So we sort of have it worked out that I just have this little beta flag on the back end, which I switch on for myself. So my version of the app has loads of extra things, and then everyone else sees the polished version. So
it's true.
The dream team.
Well,
so Brian, Jane mentioned that you were kind of more the tech side and developing of the app. So you might just talk me through how the app actually works.
Yeah, of course. So the app itself is just focused on verb conjugations. And the reason, as Jane mentioned, for that is it's in Spanish, it's quite difficult. So for anyone who doesn't know what verb conjugation is, it's basically so the verb to be, for example, it's I am, you are, he is, she was, this sort of stuff. So in English, it's generally per verb, you have 4 maybe endings. But in Spanish, you can have I think it's minimum 45 or 46 or something. So there's a lot, for a new, for a beginner or for someone even trying to master the language, there's a lot there. And then on top of that, there's 16 different tenses. So what we tried to do, is take this complex part of Spanish and simplify it as much as possible. So we take the 16 tenses, we break it down into 30 levels. Each level has mini, sort of bite-sized lessons, and then quizzes that correspond to the lessons. And basically, you work your way through it. Once you've mastered one level, you move on to the next, and so on, so on, so on. And we structure it in such a way that you learn in a way that will help you talk. So, for example, we start with the present tense, then we move on to the basic past and basic future, so that you can start forming those sentences and then move on and on and on. And for context, I'm still not through the whole course. Jane is, but I'm on something called the subjunctive now, which we don't even have a concept of in English. But yeah, and then beside that, we have quite detailed progress where we'll track everything you're doing and your progress in each tense and each pronoun, like you, he, she, and so on. And we try and then learn from that and surface. So for example, Leanne, if you were, maybe we could tell you that, hey, you're struggling a bit more on the past perfect. So we'll surface those quizzes more often to help you practice more, and hopefully improve faster.
It's so clever. Like it's such a great idea for an app. Do you think that you'd have to be learning Spanish already to kind of maybe get into the app more, or could you be a brand new beginner at Spanish, having never taken up the language before, and use Ella Verbs?
So to be honest, we target more intermediate learners, so people who have already learned a bit of Spanish. So maybe not like pure intermediate, but like people who have the basics. And we cater, like we do have beginner levels for people who have never studied it before. But because we're so focused on verbs, I think like a pure beginner learner might get a little frustrated in terms of not knowing the vocabulary to actually go with the verbs. And that's actually something we're working on the side, but that's more, that'll be
update coming.
Yeah, but to be honest, what we actually recommend is there's a lot of apps for beginners out there. So we're trying to go after the niche of like more, okay, you have the basics, you want to master it now. Like you want to take the next step. So I think it's perfect for people learning the language maybe in university or school, or like ourselves, where it's like more, we're living in a country that we need it, and it's actually helping us.
It always does seem to be the verbs that give people a really, really hard time. Not so much vocabulary, like you said, but that's kind of where Ella Verbs fits in, I suppose. And there's no time like the present. If you want to improve the Spanish right now, everyone's at home. Schools, of course, are back if people are learning it already. So now is the perfect time. Can you download it on iOS and Android?
Yeah, it's available on both stores. You can download it for free and learn all the present tense for free. And there's also a free trial of 3 days if you'd like to test out any of the other additional tenses.
Great. And you guys have been at it for 3 years now. What has been your career highlight so far?
I think just the process of building something together. I mean, initially I definitely didn't realize that it would kind of turn into a business. But having always wanted to have my own business, this is like, just the whole process has been really exciting. Just seeing it, watching it build from, 5,000 downloads to 10,000 to 50,000.
First paying customer, like we went out for dinner that day. First paying customer that wasn't our family, like one of our family.
Steaks for everyone. And do you guys have any advice for any current GC students, or maybe some of our new graduates in the alumni community that might be thinking of starting a business or following a similar career path to yourselves?
I think for anyone looking to start a business, try things on the side. So I'd say like one is it's really nice when it's there's mixed opinions on this, but for us anyway, like we had our full-time jobs and we were sort of tipping away at this on the side, and that like took the pressure off it, so we could really focus on it and have fun doing it. And then I also think like I think this is said a lot in like startup land, but solve for your own pain. Like for us, it literally was like I was struggling with verbs. There wasn't really anything out there that worked for me. And then like Jane wanted to like learn more about UX and design. So it's like
follow your interests.
Yeah.
What do you enjoy doing? Follow that. Like I kind of always had an inkling that I would like UX design and design in general. So I pursued that, and it led to this eventually. So I think always keep learning outside DC. I mean, obviously you learn a lot, but build upon the foundation from DCU, and start learning doesn't have to stop once you leave.
Well guys, it's been so nice to chat to you, and as I say, it's a wonderful app. It's a simple, brilliant concept, and of course we're so delighted to feature you across the alumni channels all this month as our alumni spotlight business owners feature. So you guys are on social media as well, so where can we find you at
Ella Verbs on Instagram and Facebook.
And Ella is ELLA, just in case. We're so honored to be featured. Like DC was such a big part of our lives, and
this is a
we
big
miss
deal
it.
for us.
No, guys, it's more than a pleasure, and we're only delighted to do so. And we can't wait to follow along on your journey.
Thank you so much.
Thanks so much,
for your
Leanne.
time, both of you.
Thank you.